Today's episode of Let's Hang Out is bringing a really sensitive topic to you guys today, and I wanted to lead in with a simple message that we can all help prevent suicide. The 988 Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the U.S. If you or someone you know is in distress and needs help, please do not hesitate to call 988 or text 988. It is a national line for suicide and crisis help. Sometimes we're talking about family, sometimes we're talking about work. But no matter what, we're here. It's Wednesday. Let's hang out. Well, hello again. It is Wednesday. Another episode of Let's Hang Out coming to you. I was going to say coming to you live. It's obviously not live, but the thought had to stop. I had to... the brain fart happened immediately. Anyway, guys, welcome back. How have you been? How has your week been? 2 weeks. It's the first break we've had in 4 weeks because we did 4 episodes all back to back to back. So you guys are getting to hear this back on the regular rotation of every other week. I'm hoping you're doing well. I'm hoping life has treated you well. Had quite a bit to talk about those last 4 weeks, just kind of having fun with things and testing out the waters of making things a regular weekly podcast. And it feels like it's a possibility. It's feeling like it's something I really want to go after, and rather than ramble on about that over and over, you guys heard quite a bit of it and sharing some of the ideas, so hopefully that becomes a thing. Hopefully we can make it a regular thing here and do weekly versus bi-weekly, but until then, still on the bi-weekly focus. I'm going to keep things going, keep the information flowing. If you guys are new to the show, thank you guys for popping in and listening. If this is just another weekly episode for you to listen to, again, as always, thank you guys for coming back. You guys can join the conversation at any time for any of these episodes using the hashtag Letshangoutpod on all socials. You can also find the podcast pretty much on every social network out there at the same link at Letshangoutpod. If you don't see the blue logo, you're not on the right page. Try it again, check the spelling, message me directly. I'll see what I can do for you guys. But it's been some time. It's been hectic. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had stuff lined up after the last episode. I had things lined up to do some more recordings, and then just kind of a wild mess of weekends and sleepovers happened again with the fam. So derailed the plans just a little bit, which is fine. We had a lot of fun. We did a whole bunch of stuff. Trying to get back on top of things, trying to make the recording times and free time all mesh together comfortably so it's not such a jumbled mess. Even leading up to this recording, I have been go every single day. And it's not because I want to, because believe me, there's been some days that I really just want to sit back and relax. But there's just been so much to get caught up on, and so many things to do while the kids are at school. So I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to make things happen. I'm trying to get projects done. I'm trying to put things in place to get other projects done that require more focus and more planning ahead, repairs and things like that. It's just a lot. But let's get into today's topic. Today, I want to talk to you guys about something that is pretty sensitive just across the board. It's not a fun topic, and I'm going to go about it in a way where I'm not really calling anybody out or giving too many details about a specific situation, because it can be triggering. If you guys have ever had any kind of issues with self-doubt, those dark thoughts, I don't want to use the word on here. I don't want to bring it up on the stream unless absolutely necessary. You guys probably heard the warning beforehand and the information before the episode started. It'll also be at the end of the episode as well, which kind of leads into what everything we're going to be talking about here just real briefly today. I don't want to go into a long discussion with it because, again, I know that it could be a triggering situation. But the mentality that things are so rough that you have to give up completely. Now, I've been there before. I've been on the very edge of that line, and I've never wanted to go back. I was pulled away from that edge, and I'm so thankful for it. The first time I was pulled away, I was not in a good place. Very not good place with my life. I was still living at home with my parents. It was nothing they did. It was nothing the parents did. It was just the rest of life and dealing with being a high schooler and being the target of a lot of bullying and rumors and things like that carried on for a long time. Which is kind of funny when I look back at it, because a lot of the comments and a lot of the things that were pushing me to that point were said by people who, at the time, everybody thought they were the coolest kid around. They thought they were, great at everything and blah, blah, blah. And then by the end of our school time, they were still kind of the popular guy. But now as adults, I'm looking at it and I'm just finding that there are these weird left turns that have happened, and I don't know how else to describe it. It's these guys that you looked at, and again, I'm not going to bring up names anywhere. If you guys are listening, you guys know me from high school, or if you guys are anybody who went with me to high school and know these stories and descriptions, let's keep their names out of here. But we had a guy who, total skater, absolute jokester. Everybody thought he was the coolest thing. Everybody got along with him, which was, I got along with him for a while there until the bullying and the comments started, and then we definitely distanced ourselves. But by the end of the school year, or by the end of school life, I should say, he was trying to play it off as like I used to make fun of you, and that wasn't cool of me, ha ha ha, that kind of crap. But he was one of those that really messed with my self-esteem early on, and carried on through middle school and the early part of high school in my freshman year. I didn't really figure myself out and what I was wanting to be and the person I wanted to be until about high school, until about sophomore year. And this guy, again, it was the cool skater dude, joked around with everybody, used to go through and just make every day, because he rode the same bus as me, which was the worst part because he got on the stop after I did, and I was always on the first stop. So I had to ride the bus the whole time with him. But he would hop on the bus, and immediately I was a target. Everything from my looks, to the way that I talked, to the things that I was working on, drawings, whatever. Everything was a target to this dude. And it ate me alive on the inside. And I told my parents about it. I told my dad about it at one point, and we had a good chat about it and how to deal with the situation. I told my mom about it, and my mom at the time was the one who was, the heart and the conversational piece of kind of going in with compassion and understanding their situation may not be great too, which is why they're doing it. Side note, I missed that version of my mother. I don't know where that wandered off to. But yeah, so dealing with him, I had to kind of tuck all of that down, and eventually my sophomore year, it hit a boiling point. It hit the point where I did not want to continue anymore dealing with it. I was, again, figuring myself out, and I put myself in a very, very visible public space and had reached that end of line. And a friend of mine, a very good dear friend of mine who's no longer with me, she saved me. And I mean that in the most direct, sincere way. She saved me, found me in this situation, and did not leave my side. And for all of my days, I will never be able to thank them enough. Again, unfortunately, she's no longer with us, so I can't thank her personally anymore, but deep down in my heart, there's never going to be enough thank yous for her saving me the first time. But yeah, it was school stuff, man. And a situation recently came up in my own little family unit here, which mirrored a lot of that. Went through a lot of the same feelings and the discussions and such. And it was kind of an eye-opener because, parents never want to be the catalyst for any of that stuff. And unfortunately, for all the praise that my wife and I get for how our kids have been brought up and how they behave around other people and stuff, we've done our best to always do what's right for them and do what's best by them. But apparently somewhere I fell short, and it's a lesson. It's one that'll stick with me for the rest of my life. But getting to have that discussion and how we just needed to change, or how I just needed to change how I approach certain things, and how our discussions need to change, things we do, the way that we react to different things, which is all stuff that I'm working on. I'm not a perfect person. No parent is a perfect parent. But getting to hear it from your kid for the first time that yes, you're part of their problem really opened your eyes. So it was this weird moment of being thrown back into that kind of dark corner where I was the first time I was in that really dark place. And again, I ended up in that dark space one more time in my life, and my wife is actually the one who found me that time and saved me that time. And truly the lowest point. And it was that post high school, not sure what to do with life, and didn't have any of the support and connections that I needed for things anymore, because long, complicated story I'll get into another episode with, about how I ended up getting kicked out of my home and things like that, just what the dynamic that created. But my wife is the one who found me, and we were dating at the time, and she saved me. And I don't think she really ever realized that she had saved me at that point when she did. I hadn't gotten to that edge. I didn't go to that point again. Because after experiencing it once, I'd never wanted to put myself in that spot again. But I had gotten into such a dark place that the thoughts were coming in. And without her, without my wife, I don't think that I would be here to be talking to you guys, or sharing the experiences with my kids and others who have gone through it. So it was one of those things that going through it now, once at the deep end, another time getting there, and again experiencing it with our family unit here, it opens your eyes. And it's something that, as a parent, as a friend, if you have any of those connections with people that you love, really assess how you handle stressful situations with them. Look at how you engage with them when they're reaching out for help, no matter how big or small the request for help is. Look at all those times and how you respond. Because I can't even put it into words. I'm sitting here trying to think of how to put it into words. It hurts to think that as a friend to somebody that you would miss a signal, but it hurts so much more as a parent. And I hope that nobody has to go through and experience that. I hope that nobody has to go through and experience that at the edge moment with their own children. Again, thankfully that's not what happened here, but it's not fun. I can't even begin to imagine what I would have put my parents through if they would have known. I truly, to this day, I don't think they knew at all. I know my dad didn't. Before he passed away, he never got to know and never got to hear those stories. And I'm not really sure how he would process that. My mom, I don't know how she would handle it anymore. I don't know how she would process that anymore. Knowing that they were part of the things that were causing the problem, but not like the main thing. Definitely now as adults, they're more of a... My mom has become more of a negative factor than a positive. And again, that'll be a whole nother episode. I actually do have that planned written down in my notebook here, or something I do want to talk to you guys about, because I know it's an experience that others go through, and I've talked to them about it, and it sucks having to walk away from a parent. But we'll talk about that another time. But this is about just reassuring you guys, like, those dark moments are going to happen, and it can happen with people that you wouldn't expect it to. It can happen with relationships that you think are doing great. You've got to learn to be aware, and to be watchful, and to be truly listening to what's going on. Not only from what they're saying to you, but how you're saying things to them. It goes back to an episode a while ago that we talked about active listening. Which again, this is explaining those faults. I'm still working on a lot of myself. There's a lot of things that I want to discuss with you guys over multiple episodes here as I progress through my own renewal of myself. I don't mean that in any kind of weird spiritual sense, nothing religious, things like that. I say renewal of myself because I promised myself that I wanted to fix the issues that were causing me problems. Whether they were causing me problems at that exact moment when I made that decision, or if they were things that were hanging on to things from my past. I wanted to get over those. I want to be done with them. I want to be able to be a better person all the way around for my kids, eventually grandkids, and so on. It's the drive to do better. And this is one of those moments, one of those stories where, again, it may happen. I can't tell you that it's never going to happen to you, that you're never going to go through those moments. You personally may put yourself into one of those situations just by living, just by being you. And, for every bit of good that's out there in the world, for all the good people that we have that we try to stick to, and the people that we enjoy that make our lives better, there are just as many bad people who make it their daily thing just to ruin somebody's day because it makes them feel better. You could do everything right and still be targeted by somebody. Don't let those stresses push you to that point, to that edge. As a parent, try to be mindful of your kids and how you discuss things and how you handle situations with them. It's rough. It's really rough, but it's been some time now since we went through this, and day one was brutal. Day one was absolutely brutal. I was beating myself up every second of the day, replaying the conversation, thinking what I did wrong. And a week out from it, I was kind of coming back to normal, being able to function fully. There's still a fear of saying something the wrong way, but now there's such a more meaningful reason why I'm afraid to go off the deep end. Which, again, I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to get my reactions and my anger under control when things happen with my kids. When something doesn't go right, or something catastrophic happens, or they make a big mistake of some kind. My normal reactions to heighten the emotions and react from the gut, which I hate doing. And I'm trying to get better at it. And that's part of this whole process, is trying to just do better, one thing at a time. Pulling back with how I react, and more so after having the conversation. It's just strengthening that skill I'm trying to make. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks to be at the end of that, to be at the receiving end of it. But it's also empowered my decision to do better, and is really driving me to do so, and that's how I'm choosing to look at the situation. It could have been much worse, and I'm thankful that it wasn't. But now it's my job as a parent and as a person, for both my family and myself, to do better, to work through it and become better. Now again, I know I'm hitting you guys with a really heavy topic today. If this isn't your vibe, I get it. This is one of those that I needed to get out. Again, the podcast is an outlet for me to get things out of my head out to the group, because I know there's others that want to talk about it and maybe are afraid to talk about it. And I want you guys to know that I'm here to listen just as much as you guys come here to listen to me, because I want you to understand that it does happen. These things happen. These experiences are normal. So if you guys are beating yourself up because something like this has happened to you, or you've been in that dark spot and you're coming back from it and trying to give yourself every reason to not go back, I'm telling you right now, it is possible. Find a reason, even if it's a small one, and take it one day at a time. You'll figure it out, you'll work it through, and I have every bit of hope that you guys come out better at the other end. Now, as I said, I don't want to get too long into this, so we're going to wrap things up there because it is sensitive. And I know it was a little scatterbrained in there for a minute. And it's because I didn't want to script this out. I didn't want to go and do a bunch of research and read something off a screen that told me to say this, and this to help people. This is from me. Straight from me, with no other framework on it. Just shooting from the hip, giving you guys exactly what I'm feeling as I'm talking about it, and replaying it in my head. We can all be better. We can all do better. We can all bring a little bit of positivity back into the world. One moment of listening at a time, and one helpful hand at a time. And I truly believe that. So let's wrap things up here. Try to bring the energy back up for the day. And I know it's a deep cut today. I'm going to do my best to have an episode immediately after this same day share, bringing the energy back up for you guys, because I feel like I owe it to you for that, for listening to this. And because that's really what we need. You know, these down moments happen, but we got to get right back up. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for hanging out today. I truly appreciate it. Again, if you want to get involved in any of the conversations, hashtag Letshangoutpod, at Letshangoutpod everywhere. I am not doing an episode-specific hashtag for this one for obvious reasons. Again, very important information at the beginning of the episode and the end of the episode for you guys. Please take a moment. If you know somebody in one of those situations, you have that inkling that something's wrong, please do not hesitate to use the info. I cannot stress that enough. Please, please, please be aware. Be helpful. Share the information. For now, guys, big hugs all the way around. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys in the next episode, again, with more energy, more excitement, happier topics. We'll be back to normal. I love you guys. If you haven't heard that in a while, I do care. Somebody out there does care, and if it has to be me today, just know that I do. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and week. I'll see you soon. The 988 Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the U.S. If you or someone you know is in distress and needs help, please do not hesitate to call 988 or text 988. It is a national line for suicide and crisis help.